Our oceans are a bizarre and sometimes utterly terrifying place. Vast, deep, and filled with creatures that look like they crawled straight out of your nightmares. But there's a funny paradox. While we're busy building luxury resorts on Mars, over 80% of our own Earth's oceans remain a pitch-black mystery, completely unexplored. Until the year 2089. While a research team was trying to map the Mariana Trench in detail, their sonar accidentally smashed into something that doesn't exist in any textbook. It was a pure vantablack, impossibly sharp monolithic pyramid, submerged at a depth of 11,000 meters. And when we say massive, it was truly a monster. It was 5 times bigger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Where did it come from? Dropped by aliens? A relic of Atlantis? Or just an expensive prank by a bored billionaire? Of course, scientists worldwide immediately rushed to study this colossal machine. And what they discovered made all the physics textbooks burst into flames. Literally.
The equations, they're on fire!
Because this pyramid wasn't a tomb or a statue. It was a massive machine, still humming with activity. It emitted a clean, stable, and completely infinite energy, powerful enough to power the entire Earth. Running at maximum capacity for the next 10,000 years without a recharge. Sounds like a dream, right? But everything free in this universe comes with a hefty price tag. And the price of the pyramid might just be our very survival. But to understand the true scale of the disaster, we need to briefly leave the water and rewind time back to the very beginning. Decades of debate erupted after the pyramid's discovery. Who built it?
Question marks are multiplying. What?
Radiometric dating from its outer shell revealed a jaw-dropping number. This machine had been sitting there for about 50 million years, at a time when our distant ancestors were still cluelessly waddling on warm beaches. Some highly advanced extraterrestrial civilization treated Earth as a backup charging station, or worse, an e-waste dump. They dropped this massive black block through the atmosphere, creating an impact that shook the entire ocean. And then it sank, down into the darkest depths of the Mariana Trench. There it powered down, lying dormant and fast asleep. And it waited for a very, very long time. Waited until continents drifted, and waited until our bird civilization rose. By the late 21st century, we were facing an existential crisis. The world was incredibly thirsty for energy. Coal was depleted, renewables weren't enough, and the atmosphere was thick with toxic orange smog. That's when megacorporations saw the pyramid not as a historical wonder to be protected, but as a juicy, infinite battery handed to them on a silver platter. A massive project was immediately launched. In just 5 years, they built a giant plug, stabbing straight into the tip of the pyramid to drain its core. Energy flowed abundantly. But before we talk about the tragic end, let's dissect this. Where did this monster actually draw its power from? To understand how this pitch-black anchor powered the world, we have to zoom in, very, very small, past the molecular level, deeper than atoms, diving straight into the extreme wilderness of quantum mechanics. Welcome to the realm of zero-point energy. Sounds like the title of a cheap sci-fi movie, but it's real. Imagine a juice box. You've slurped up the very last drop with a straw. It's completely empty inside, right? Everything is still. But quantum physics says, wrong! In this universe, empty space is actually not empty at all. If you zoom into that silent void, you'll see it looks exactly like a boiling, chaotic soup. where virtual particles constantly pop into existence from nothingness in pairs, high-five each other, and instantly annihilate without a trace. This cycle of birth and death contains a massive amount of energy, but it happens way too fast for us to catch with a butterfly net. And that's where the pyramid showed its dark magic. This giant machine wasn't just sitting still on the ocean floor. It was actually rooting itself through the very fabric of space-time, using artificial gravity to bend reality into a deep funnel. At its core, the pyramid acted as an ultimate quantum vacuum cleaner, lying in wait for newly spawned virtual particle pairs. It quickly snatched these particles before they could high-five and self-destruct. It forced the negative particle down into a micro-black hole and forced the remaining isolated positive particle to convert directly into pure energy radiation. Glowing green, clean, and totally free. The energy it extracted from just 1 cubic centimeter of quantum vacuum was more than enough to boil all of Earth's oceans. An infinite electricity printer. But wait, what about the law of conservation of energy? You can't just take free stuff from the universe without paying a price. But let's ignore those doom-saying warnings for now. Thanks to the infinite power from the ocean, our bird humanity entered a true golden age. Electricity became so cheap that people stopped charging for it. Everything from transportation to food production and space travel became practically free. Giant filter machines cleaned up the orange smog. Our planet had never been so green and gorgeous. Energy megacorporations became saviors. The Black Pyramid was worshipped as a sacred gift from cosmic gods. Everyone was happy, plump, and busy enjoying life. Until 10 years later, when the universe's bill finally arrived. Underwater monitoring stations started recording bizarre data. Not a mechanical failure, but a glitch in reality itself. Remember the space-time funnel? Sucking up massive amounts of energy continuously had worn down the fabric of space around the pyramid. It's like trying to suck milk through a flimsy paper straw. Eventually, the straw will tear, and weird things from the outside will leak in. Around the deep-sea construction site, the water began to change color. From a calm, deep black to a toxic neon purple filled with strange radiation. Gravity in the area started glitching. Multi-ton patrol submarines suddenly floated and tumbled around like plastic toys. But that wasn't the worst part. The leaking quantum radiation began directly interfering with the DNA of poor deep-sea creatures. Remember our derpy anglerfish friend? Yeah, he just got a multi-dimensional upgrade that was a little twisted. And then, one night, alarms at the deep-sea guard station blared. Security cameras captured a massive dark shadow gliding past the machine. Even the bravest divers screamed in terror, witnessing a horrific alien ecosystem swallowing the construction site. The pyramid wasn't just providing electricity, it was terraforming Earth into a completely different habitat, making way for its true masters. On the surface, coastal beach resorts suddenly turned into B-movie sci-fi horror, as mutant crabs sprouted giant tentacles and strolled along the sand, scattering all the sunbathing tourists. At this point, the billionaires finally picked up the phone to call the military. Generals immediately stepped in to protect their great battery. A fleet of state-of-the-art armored submarines was dispatched down the Mariana Trench to clean up this alien mess. But as they approached the pyramid, they realized the water had changed structure, becoming a thick quantum soup like jelly. The fundamental laws of physics had completely collapsed here. The captain ordered the firing of hypersonic torpedoes. But instead of exploding, the torpedo turned into a floating bouquet of bright yellow daisies. Their enemy was manipulating reality itself. And then, the master of these waters appeared. A colossal, multi-dimensional entity slowly emerged from the spatial tear beneath the pyramid. Its size was so ridiculous that it made our proud submarine fleet look like tiny microplastics. Realizing guns were completely useless, Command frantically ordered Plan B.
I repeat,
pull the pyramid's plug to close the portal. But it was too late. The giant power plug was now tightly wrapped by alien biological vines like a rat trap. The cosmic entity gently swung a tentacle, unleashing a quantum shockwave that instantly neutralized the fleet's entire power. Out of control at the bottom of the sea, the global power grid began to overload as chaotic energy surged back up from the spatial tear. The utopia paradise flickered and died. Powerless flying cars dropped like flies, luckily equipped with emergency parachutes. The era of free energy ended in a multi-dimensional disaster, and corporate stock charts were literally catching on fire. Calming down, scientists realized a bitter truth. That giant cosmic entity didn't actually want to destroy us. It was just moving into its new house. The pyramid was never a power station. It was a multi-dimensional terraforming engine. That alien civilization dropped this machine on Earth 50 million years ago just to incubate the planet. And now, the landlord had arrived. The billionaires, of course, tried to solve it the way they do best: bribery. A massive amount of money was offered to negotiate. But to an entity that snacks on black holes for breakfast, our paper money was basically toilet paper. When money failed, the next plan was run. Thousands of rockets were fueled up to evacuate the elite from Earth. But quantum tentacles had already engulfed the atmosphere. They swatted the escaping rockets out of the sky as easily as swatting fat flies. Couldn't run, couldn't fight. The only plan left was written on a blackboard. We can't pull the plug, so let's push it down. We needed the largest physical impact force ever created. A solid metal rod of immense mass was pulled from a forbidden orbital armory. No explosives or radiation, just a block of metal in free fall from space. At Mach 20, its kinetic energy was equivalent to a meteor, a critical strike against our own sole lifeline. The general slammed the launch button with a single proud tear. This weapon, known as the Rod from God, tore through the atmosphere. It didn't burn up, but turned into a giant spear of fire, plunging straight into the Pacific. Its kinetic energy was so massive it split the ocean apart, blowing away the thick purple jelly. Miraculously, it struck right on the stuck plug at the top of the pyramid. A nail driven in with the force of a 1,000,000-ton sledgehammer. Boom! The immense crushing force pushed the entire pyramid back down into the spatial tear, dragging the screaming cosmic entity with it. Silence fell over the Pacific. The boiling seawater gradually cooled, and as the thick fog dissipated, bird humanity breathed a sigh of relief. Earth survived. The quantum infection stopped spreading and was slowly washed away by nature. But the Golden Age was also buried forever. The utopia paradise, no longer fed by infinite electricity, was now just a steel ruin. Luxurious servant machines lay rusting. We had to roll up our sleeves, pick up the axe and hoe, and learn to do everything from scratch. And of course, the energy billionaires who used to rule the world had to face reality, learning to sweep their own floors and brew their own coffee. This event left us with the most expensive lesson of all time, found right in that dusty old textbook. The first law of thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another, a principle that cannot be bent. If you see an infinite source of energy handed to you completely for free, then either someone else is paying for it, or it's a trap. This universe is like a cold-blooded accountant. Every equation must eventually balance. And quantum debt has killer interest rates. Back at the Mariana Trench, the torn abyss had closed. The pitch-black machine was buried under millions of tons of rock, its lights extinguished forever. As for our alien landlord, it got shoved back into the Earth's mantle. It'll probably sleep for another 50 million years, or find an easier neighborhood to rent. Technological miracles aren't real, but that's okay. We lost an illusory paradise, only to reclaim our actual future. Building every solar panel by hand, spinning every wind turbine brings a strange sense of comfort. This energy is ours. We make it. It reminds us that there are no shortcuts in evolution. And sometimes, physical limits themselves are the only thing keeping us from destroying ourselves in a universe so vastly huge and full of dark secrets. If you want to explore the mysteries of the universe without worrying about accidentally summoning a multi-dimensional entity that craves solar systems, then the safest way is to train your brain with the sponsor of today's video, Brilliant. Brilliant helps you deeply understand quantum physics, math, and computer science through thousands of interactive visual lessons. You don't need to be a genius to start. Click the link in the description to get a 30-day free trial and 20% off an annual premium subscription. Start your journey today. This video took us thousands of hours to make, and it was only possible thanks to the amazing support from our Patreons. If you want to support us in making more science explainer videos, visit our shop. We have gorgeous posters, pins, t-shirts, and super cute plushies. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss our next expeditions. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the universe!